Every Sunday, Joel Osteen steps onto the stage of Lakewood Church, once filled with over 45,000 worshipers in Houston, Texas. The lights hit perfectly, the music swells, and his signature smile promises a life filled with divine abundance. But behind the polished presentation, something has shifted. The overflowing parking lots now have empty spaces. Overflow rooms, once packed with thousands, are closing. Internal attendance tracking shows that tens of thousands of regular members have quietly stopped coming. They aren't moving to other Lakewood campuses, they are simply gone, leaving a question that challenges the church's reputation and message. Joel Osteen's legacy. Joel Osteen inherited Lakewood Church from his father, John Osteen, in 1999. At that time, the congregation numbered about 6,000. Within 5 years, Joel's preaching and outreach grew the membership to over 30,000. By 2005, Lakewood moved into the former Houston Rockets Arena, the Compaq Center, investing $15 million in renovations. The main sanctuary holds 16,800, with overflow rooms bringing total capacity above 45,000. Joel's message was clear. God loves you, desires to bless you, and abundance follows faith. His books sold millions, his broadcast reached over 100 countries, and his personal net worth was estimated between $50 and $100 million. The appeal of prosperity, Joel Osteen's brand of Christianity simplified faith. There was no guilt, no prerequisites for blessings, no burdens to bear, just belief, positivity, and declaration. The promise of victory over life's circumstances attracted millions. People who had struggled with traditional religious constraints felt included and motivated. The sermons were polished, uplifting, and easy to follow. Over time, Lakewood became not just a church but a cultural phenomenon. Yet the same features that drew people in would later contribute to disillusionment. For some, the reality of faith didn't match the promises being preached, sowing doubt in the foundation of prosperity theology. Hurricane Harvey and the seeds of doubt. In 2017, Hurricane Harvey devastated Houston, displacing over 30,000 residents. Despite Lakewood's massive elevated facilities, the church initially kept its doors closed. Statements cited flooding, yet photos online showed the area around the church dry and its parking garage undamaged. After public criticism, Lakewood eventually opened as a shelter. For many congregants, this hesitation was revealing. The church that preached immediate divine provision appeared slow to act when human need arose. Though the moment alone didn't trigger mass departures, it planted doubt. For some members, the first cracks appeared in the unshakable image of a church that promised abundance to all faithful followers. The discovery of hidden cash. 4 years later, in 2021, a routine plumbing job unearthed envelopes filled with cash and checks inside a bathroom wall at Lakewood Church, totaling around $600,000. The money related to a theft from 2014, a case that had gone cold. While Joel Osteen was never implicated, members were left with questions. How could such a large sum vanish in a church with advanced security? Why was the cash hidden in the building? Lakewood had already received an insurance payout, effectively reimbursing the loss. The unanswered questions and lack of transparency deepened skepticism, reinforcing a perception that accountability and clarity were not priorities at the church. Victoria Osteen's controversial statement. In September 2023, Victoria Osteen, Joel's wife and co-pastor, made headlines during a sermon. She stated, "When you come to church, when you worship Him, you're not doing it for God. Really? You're doing it for yourself because that's what makes God happy." Critics argued this reversed traditional Christian teaching. Worship is meant to glorify God, not oneself. Joel defended her comments, but the clip went viral, exposing an uncomfortable truth about prosperity theology. It often emphasizes personal gain over divine glorification. For some members, Victoria's words confirmed their growing concerns about the church's focus and message. When the promise fails. The prosperity gospel hinges on belief in its efficacy. It assumes faith, tithing, and declarations will result in blessings. Yet for many Lakewood members, the promised abundance never materialized. Despite regular giving, faithful declarations, and active participation, financial breakthroughs, healing, and personal transformation remained elusive. Meanwhile, Joel Osteen enjoys a $10.5 million mansion in River Oaks, complete with 6 bedrooms, multiple elevators, and a guest house worth millions. Although his wealth comes from books and speaking engagements, the stark contrast between his life and the struggles of congregants has become increasingly difficult for some to reconcile. The economics of giving Lakewood reportedly collects around $90 million annually. Congregants give generously, trusting in divine multiplication, but the financial benefits largely flow upward. Members' offerings help sustain church operations, media ventures, and lavish pastoral lifestyles, while tangible blessings for the average member remain uncertain. Over time, many congregants began questioning the system. They had invested time, faith, and finances, but experienced little personal growth or improvement in circumstances. The cognitive dissonance between the promise of prosperity and their lived reality created frustration, leading many to reconsider their loyalty to the church. Repetition and lack of depth. Former members describe sermons as increasingly repetitive. The themes rarely evolve beyond positive declarations, smiling, and assurances of victory. For those seeking spiritual growth, the messages felt shallow. Authentic faith involves struggle, introspection, and sometimes discomfort. Lakewood's highly polished environment, perfect music, flawless production, and staged optimism felt increasingly artificial. Congregants who longed for substance, challenge, and meaningful transformation started to see the church as a show rather than a space for spiritual development. This emphasis on image over authenticity drove disillusionment among long-term attendees. A generational shift. Younger Christians are approaching faith differently. Many are skeptical of institutional religion and the megachurch model, particularly when promises of prosperity fail. They watch older generations give faithfully without receiving the expected rewards, raising questions about fairness, equity, and the alignment of doctrine with lived experience. Observing pastors live in opulence while preaching sacrifice adds to the tension. For younger congregants, the prosperity gospel increasingly seems irrelevant. They seek authenticity, community, and transparency, values that clash with the highly curated and hierarchical structure of Lakewood Church. Spiritual homelessness. The 20,000 former members haven't simply switched churches, they have largely stepped away from organized religion. Some find small congregations where leaders know their names, emphasizing relational faith over spectacle. Others describe spiritual homelessness, struggling to reconcile belief in God with disillusionment in institutions. The exodus isn't about scandal or single events, it's a slow realization that the product, faith promises framed in prosperity theology, does not match the lived experience. The disconnect between expectation and reality has led many to abandon a system that no longer resonates with their spiritual needs. The quiet Exodus Lakewood Church still fills the compact center on Sundays. Joel Osteen continues to sell books, speak to sold-out arenas, and maintain a polished public image. From the outside, the church appears as successful as ever. But for the congregants who built that success, the experience is different. Empty pews, unanswered questions, and unmet promises define their reality. The exodus of tens of thousands of members illustrates a deeper problem than any single controversy. Faith, when commodified and packaged as guaranteed abundance, risks alienating those it seeks to inspire when results fail to align with promises. The unraveling of faith. The prosperity gospel depends on visible, tangible success as proof of divine favor. When members do not see that success, cognitive dissonance grows. For many, Lakewood's polished veneer no longer hides the inconsistencies between preaching and practice. As faith is tested against reality, congregants leave quietly, without spectacle, but in significant numbers. The departure of these members underscores the limitations of a model that equates spiritual fidelity with material gain. Abundance, as promised, has become synonymous with exclusivity rather than inclusion, creating disillusionment for those who invested their belief and resources. Conclusion. Joel Osteen continues to smile on stage, lights illuminating the compact center, delivering messages of hope and victory. Yet for tens of thousands of former members, the promise of prosperity has failed. Empty parking lots and disappearing congregants serve as a reminder that faith, when measured in material terms, can erode trust and connection. Lakewood Church's story reflects a broader challenge for institutional religion. Authenticity, transparency, and alignment between promises and lived experience are essential. For those who left, the abundant life was never delivered, not because God failed, but because the model itself could not deliver for everyone.